Another Japanese exclusive RPG now, but one that tweaks the formula in a few subtle ways. Storyline-wise, not at all. A demonic force has arisen to take over the world, and it's up to you to find the legendary fire jewel and seal the source of this evil. It seems that part of the reason behind the name Twin is to do with its main gimmick. The game uses something Athena called double view configuration, which basically uses the same character sprite to display the overworld from the traditional top view and the dungeon sequences from a side-on perspective, in the way that some early Zelda games do. It's a cool thing to look at for sure, and adds a platforming element to the proceedings. Is it strange to make such a big deal out of this? The box sure doesn't think so, stating, "Being a twin makes me love games even more," which doesn't really do anything for immersion, but there it is. The majority of the game takes place in these side-on dungeons and tunnels. There are 10 dungeons to work through. The graphics in these dungeons are surprisingly detailed and very effective, with purportedly around 100 enemies, each with their own sprites. 100 is probably an exaggeration, but it is nice to find a game that doesn't just recycle enemy images. I'm looking at you, Dragon Quest. As well as this, there are lots of different weapons and armor, as well as plenty of magic spells to learn. Perhaps tweaking the formula is not entirely accurate. More of the formula than usual more accurately represents what's going on here. Your character can be one of several classes. There are warriors, clerics, and mages, all who have their own skill sets. Oddly, you can't actually choose your class. In a rather strange design choice, it's assigned to you at random. A few tweaks have certainly been made to the usual leveling up / money earning procedure you typically get at the start of these games. Wandering through the tunnels will present you with plenty of random encounters, a lot of which are incredibly difficult to get through at first. You'll die a lot in the first tunnel, but don't worry a great deal. If you perish, you simply lose half your money and end up back in the castle. Thing is, you don't directly earn money from winning battles. You need to return to the Queen and tell her how many baddies you've slain. She'll then pay you. So, as long as you don't talk to her outside of the recovery screen, you won't have any money to lose. Bit weird, but that's how Athena chose to do it. Eventually, you'll win enough fights to level up a few, which then makes the combat a bit more realistic. You'll be able to afford weapons and armor upgrades given enough patience, then the adventure can properly unfold. In time, you'll meet other members who can be hired to fight alongside you if you have enough cash. Outside of the obvious window dressing and the handful of design tweaks, Twin is pretty standard RPG stuff. Most of the game takes place in these tunnels and dungeons, but there's a disappointing lack of variation in the scenery. Almost every screen in the game unfolds in front of a solid black background. The gameplay itself also suffers from a repetitive redundancy that stops your experience ever reaching the heights of something like a Final Fantasy or Zelda game would. Points for ambition with the presentation, even if it was done at the expense of much substance. Check out the box and label art if nothing else, it's really quite something.